You helped me get my first job as a director. And I remember one of the things that you said to me at the time was you quoted Peter Bogdanovich, who said, movies are pieces of time.
Pieces of time, yeah.
And it's knowing that you have those pieces, you can build your scene. And it was something I never forgot, and it was a great tool that you gave me to begin with.
So anything of quality you've ever done, I'm responsible for.
And the shitty stuff.
I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
No, the truth? Well, yeah, that's right. Well, you know that. I mean, you've certainly shot a lot now. I mean, you know, I was so shocked when I produced television, the first time I had a television series I was producing, that so many of these directors came in and would shoot it but had no interest in cutting it.
Right, yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It was like, then it's not yours. Yeah. And then that's when I learned television isn't the directors. The way our system works, it's mostly the executive producers, who's usually the writer. The other thing that shocked me was how many guys could come in and shoot well, but could not put it together.
Yeah.
It was like, you have the shot. Why are you, it was, well, it's interesting.
Well, what was really interesting for me when we were doing Masters of Horror was watching each of the directors, because directors don't work together except when you do a cameo as an actor or something. And to watch how differently every filmmaker worked. Now, you got to work on a lot of other directors' films in your formative years, and that must have been a great education for you.
Well, what you learn is you really learn. I learned really one of the director's jobs, and this is going to sound so asinine, but I'm serious. Make a decision. You are the captain of that ship. I mean, a film crew is actually organized in a military manner from the top down, from supposedly the director. Sometimes it's the star, sometimes the producer, sometimes the studio executive. You never know who's really making the picture unless you're on the set. But I was shocked at how many directors really didn't know what they wanted. They didn't have any kind of vision in their head of what the movie would be. I'm always very definite. I mean, the movie's shot already. For me, I can watch it. It changes on the floor because sometimes technical problems or an actor is being pissy. Or
1,000 different things happen at once.
And filmmaking is basically a craft. People get mad at me because I say it's not an art, because I don't think it's an art. I think it can become an art when a craft elevates. I mean, sculpture's not an art, painting's not an art. Most paintings stink, but and most movies stink. But the example I always give is a carpenter, is that if you give 4 carpenters the same tools and the same materials, wood, glue, nails, hammer, saw, whatever, and you say build a chair, all 4 of them will build a chair. And it'll be a sturdy chair, it'll be a nice chair. But one of them might be an Eames chair or a Chippendale chair, or one of them can take his craft and really elevate it. And filmmaking is craft. There are very few artists working in film. A lot of people think they are, but there are. I mean, there have been, actually. I shouldn't say very few. There have been many. I mean, Fellini, and the most famous, you have Kurosawa, Fellini, Bergman. I think Scorsese from time to time. And, there are a lot of people who have made extraordinary motion pictures.
What are the movies you like to see? Are there people who excite you, filmmakers now, who get you excited?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, I just saw The Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I really liked it. And you know why I liked it? Because it was true to the source, to Roald Dahl, but it was also very much a Wes Anderson movie. Really interesting picture. I enjoyed that. Terry Gilliam's out there. He's still slugging. His movies are always the latest one. He had this terrible thing happen to him in the middle of it.
Losing Your Star, Heath Ledger. Yeah.
But he continued and managed to finish it. And even though it doesn't work as a whole, there's brilliant stuff in it. David Cronenberg's still making movies. The Coen brothers making movies. Sam Raimi's making movies. I wish he'd stop making Spider-Man movies, but Sam's making movies. I mean, there's so many.
He did Drag Me to Hell. He went back to his horror roots.
There you go.
Yeah.
But which was a remake of
Night of the Demon.
Night of the Demon,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but
unofficial remake.
Unofficial remake means he ripped it off.
Oh.
Anyway, but I have an equal appreciation for high and low culture. There's this thing where people like Chaplin is a great artist, but the Three Stooges are vulgarians for boys. Forget it. I think they're both great. They're both different. I adore Laurel and Hardy, and I adore Harold Lloyd, and I think Buster Keaton's one of the real geniuses of the film business. But I have a great appreciation for Bob Hope and a great appreciation for Martin and Lewis, and you know, there've been a lot of really great performers out there, and directors who work in high and low. Do you understand what I mean? I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, yeah. I mean, I have my
Being
wife does not
entertained is
share.
being entertained, whether it's culture or
Yeah,
the gutter.
where we work.
Where exactly, and get no respect.
But you didn't mention Burke and Hare yet.
Burke and Hare.
Bastard.
Okay, first take that back. So you're doing Burke and Hare right now. The
Yes.
Story of the famous British grave robber.
I start shooting in 3 weeks.
Oh, good. And so
You know what?
This is a horror film with a sense of humor.
Burke and Hare never robbed a grave.
They never, but they're known as grave robbers.
Yeah, they're always associated with grave robbing because it was the time, but they actually murdered 16 people. They cut out the dirty work, literally. And you know the expression to burk someone, to kill someone by burking them, where you hold their nose and hold their, so you suffocate them, you burk them so they won't have bruises, because these were bodies. To teach surgery, to teach medicine, you need
Cadavers.
cadavers. And in Edinburgh was the center of all medical education for quite a few years. In 1827, 28, when my picture takes place, it was the time of Burke and Hare, who were the most notorious and infamous murderers, but
Not grave robbers.
no, they were psychopaths.
Cadaver suppliers.
They were very bad and evil. They were like Charles Manson bad guys, you know. I mean, but it's an Ealing. It's a British film, and it's for Ealing. And Ealing made Kind Hearts and Coronets. You know, the
All
Lady
the great
Killers.
comedies of
Well, black comedies.
black comedies.
Yeah,
And so is this fit in with
very black, very black. It's a romantic comedy. And ironically, there have been 14 feature films on Burke and Hare, and this is historically the most accurate, bizarrely. But it's not a documentary. I mean, we take big liberties.
But you're making a period picture, a 19th century film in
No
England.
money, yeah.
No money. But you can do that in England in ways that you can't do here.
But this is not so easy. And we're shooting a week in Scotland, and then we're shooting the rest of it in and around London. It's except for one set. It's all locations and tiny. I mean, it's a bitch, man. I mean, I'd be very interested to see if we pull it off.
But it must be exciting and something new to you to be doing a British-based period picture.
Okay. That's not the, I mean, I don't, yeah. I mean, I see that as just part of the process. I mean, the picture's being shot by John Matheson, wonderful British DP who did Gladiator and just finished the new Robin Hood movie with Russell Crowe. It's another Ridley Scott movie, and you know, but he's doing the picture. Luckily for me, we got some interesting cadavers. Christopher Lee's in it. Tim Curry's in it.
Excellent.
Simon Pegg is William Burke. But what's exciting about it, it's a very black comedy. It's a really quirky picture. A studio would never make this movie.
But working independently seems to be the only way to get something interesting off the ground these days.
You know, it's just a strange time economically, and it's a strange time in the film business. You know, Comcast just bought NBC Universal. It's going to be like 6 people are going to own the entire business, and it's that's scary. But I'm optimistic. I mean, there's so many talented people out there. It's just depressing when shit makes a lot of money. That's what's depressing. You know, it's like you go see it, you go like, this is making so much money.
Well, let's make good stuff that'll make lots of money.
Yeah.
Like Burke and Hare.
Yeah.
All right, John Landis, thank you for joining us on Postmortem.
Thank you, Mr. Garris.